To connect to Providence with Mayor Brett Smiley, who joins us live in studio. We're going to tackle a lot of issues, including rent stabilization, the Federal Hill shooting, and one of his opponents in the mayoral race. Mayor, good to see you as always.
Nice to see you too.
Let's talk about rent stabilization, because that really has become a big talker. It's gotten very political, and there are still people I talk to who still don't understand it.
Yeah.
So there's kind of a battle. The 4% increases for people who are renting, but you vetoed it because you feel as though landlords won't make housing available if there are restrictions. Is that?
Not exactly.
Okay.
Rent control's been tried in a bunch of cities around the country. Like, we've got a lot of evidence for what happens. And Providence's unaffordability challenge is the root cause is that we don't have enough housing. We have more people than we have housing. Rent control causes new construction to slow or stop. It's going to make the problem worse. Secondly, rent control doesn't actually lower anybody's rent. It slows the rate of growth for some people if you are lucky enough to live in a rent-controlled apartment, but like 2/3 of the apartments would be exempt under this proposal. So it's not going to lower anybody's rent, and only 1/3 of the people might get that benefit, but it's going to come with all these other bad consequences. So it's a bad policy, and it's not going to help our residents, which is why I've proposed an emergency rental assistance fund. I've been focused on building more housing, which we're doing better than anyone else in Rhode Island, and actually building more housing per capita than New York City and Boston. We're making great progress, and so I vetoed it because it was actually going to make things worse, not better.
And now there's talk that maybe they will come back with 10 votes, and then this will go back in front of voters.
Yeah, so the council, on any time a mayor vetoes something, the council has 30 days to override it.
Right.
They need 10 votes. It only passed with 9, and so for the next 30 days, I expect that they're going to be trying to talk to their colleagues. But we had a long conversation about this. I think people on the city council, and certainly in my case, in my office, we're pretty well informed. We know where we stand on the issue. There is a lot of things that the city council and I agree with in terms of our various strategies to help address the housing crisis. And it's my hope that we can turn the page on this and focus on all those other things.
I say this knowing that you're in a campaign season right now, but you took a lot of criticism for this too. A lot of people want affordable housing to help people, but they don't want it in their backyard. And that's what you see in a lot of communities, not necessarily Providence, but a lot of some of the other communities right here. Maybe this rent stabilization, as it's proposed right now, doesn't work. And I know you have your own program, but is there some way to bring things together? Because rent here is now out of control.
Yeah. And I'm so proud to live in Providence because we don't have those fights over affordable housing like they happen in other communities. We're building affordable housing in all neighborhoods, including on the east side of Providence, and it is embraced by the community. Last year, we had almost 900 new housing units come online in Providence. 22% of them were permanently subsidized affordable units. The state target per community is 10%, so that's twice the state target. We're doing great in terms of producing new affordable housing. And I live in a city where people understand that we need apartments that anybody can afford. And so affordable housing does not meet resistance in Providence, and that's wonderful.
Let's talk a little bit about the other issue that has a lot of people concerned, and we've talked about this before. A man walks into a restaurant on Federal Hill and opens fire during dinner time. It is one of several violent incidents that have happened on Federal Hill. Why can't we stop that? It's a small stretch of a street.
Yeah.
What is it that we can't do that's making these crimes happen?
So first of all, most importantly, the shooter is in custody.
Yes.
So people should take some comfort in that fact. We believe the two individuals knew one another.
Right.
And so it's really hard if it wasn't like stopping someone from coming into a space that was looking to do harm. It appears to have been a dispute or a conflict between two people known to each other. It's problematic that this individual had a gun, and that's why we need to continue to be more strict about who has access to a gun.
But it also is at a restaurant where people feel like, God, if this can happen up on Federal Hill when I'm out having dinner with friends or whatever, it can happen anywhere. Is there an issue where we need to have walking police officers and mounted police on a regular basis there on the weekends?
Yeah, and we do. We did beforehand, we do now.
Okay.
There is significant police presence on Federal Hill. That's an important destination to the city. It's an important neighborhood to the city. There it is the case that police cannot prevent every crime from happening.
No, I understand
And
that,
these
right.
two individuals appear to know each other. One of them happened to be armed, and were not visibly armed. We didn't know he was armed.
Right.
And they got into some sort of dispute.
Right.
And now the individual is in custody and hopefully will be held fully accountable through the justice process.
As you know, I've been very adamant about these questionings, is that because I always say to myself, okay, you look at a weekend. Boston has clubs, New York has clubs. You never hear shootings in clubs and in restaurants like you do in Providence, and it's the smallest, it's the smallest state in the country. I just don't understand, why is it only happening here?
It's not only happening here. I disagree with that. There are certainly shootings in Boston.
There are, but not like at clubs every weekend or every other weekend or once a month or once every 2 months.
Listen, don't mistake me. No amount of shooting in clubs is acceptable.
Right, of course.
None. It should
Right.
be zero.
Right.
And we're always working towards zero. And we are making great progress. Providence, at December, at the end of the year, closed the safest year in city's record since we started keeping this data in 1990. Safest in 35 years. But no amount of crime is acceptable, and we're always trying to get to zero. But when you have a conflict between two people who know one another, and I don't yet,
that's fair.
I don't
fair.
yet know if this individual had the gun legally or not.
Right.
But he might very well have had it legally in possession of a firearm. It's very difficult to prevent something like that from happening.
You have a candidates forum tomorrow. For the first time, all the candidates for mayor will be in one spot. David Morales obviously has been coming after you about rent control in Federal Hill. There was a report out that he had internal polling that had him at 45% to your 34%. How do you accept that, or are you going to give me polling?
Yeah, first of all, I don't accept it,
Okay.
and I don't share my polling. What I know is that I'm not entitled to this job. I have to earn this job. I've got 4.5 months to make my case to the voters of Providence about both the track record that I've had in 3.5 years and my plans for the next 4 years. I look forward to making that case, and I'm really proud of the campaign that is already up and running, and I'm proud of my track record, and so it'll be up to the people of Providence to decide who they want to lead the city next.
All right, Mayor, I appreciate your time. They're holding me there.
Great.